Today we're going to have fun making games with art products. Started with a piece of artist board, and I cut it in half. It's a nice thick piece of board, so it's substantial, and I took some tape and I taped along the spine when it was closed, so when I opened it up, makes it a little more convenient to store and to carry with you. And then I took a couple of pieces of a multimedia drawing paper and I glued that down. And I used the roller dots, or you could use a little bit of school glue. But I always just kind of put maybe a dot in the corner, enough to make the paper stick. But after I'm done with this game, after I get bored with this board game, I can take this piece off and put a new piece. So it keep on inventing game after game. All right, so once I had that together, then I thought this was pretty handy. I took out the connector watercolors here, and I kind of put them together, and I found some interesting shapes. And I took a pencil, and I kind of outlined them in order to get an interesting playing field here. And then I just very quickly drew some divisions there. So now I've got the main board. And I thought for this one, what I would do is make a game about making the game. So I'm going to just randomly take this one for start. And so I'll indicate that this is the starting spot, and maybe even let's take a little bit of the watercolor. I'm going to paint it with red so you can tell, wow, this is really going to show up here. I'll keep a little white there. Okay, so we're going to start there. Now, I made my own game piece, and it's just a scrap piece of the artist board, and I glued it on a wooden disc. You could also use a button. You could use, you don't necessarily have to make your own game piece. You could just take a little character that you might have from some other place, but this is my starting piece, and I'm going to put him right there. And then I'm going to roll the dice, and I got a 1, so I get to move 1, and I get to pick whatever color that's going to go in there. So let's start with blue. So now I'm going to paint this a blue. And the rule that I have with this game is that whatever color you use to paint your space, I'll put him off to the side, you can use it on the board. So what we're going to do is paint and draw and create the board at the same time that we're playing it. So since I get to use blue in this case, I'm going to put a lake right in the center of our board. Okay. Now, I'm just playing by myself, so I get to roll next. This time, I get a 5, so I will go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spaces. And maybe this time, let's go with a green. So with this game, even once I get all the spaces painted out, if I still have things, or as a group, if I'm playing with some of my friends, you decide when the game's over when you think that your scene is finished. You can't think of anything else to do to the board. So if you do this several times, each time you do a game, the board is always going to look different depending on who you're playing with, what you feel like. You could pick a theme. In this case, I'm starting to make it look more like a park or something, or some place that you would go to have fun on a nice summer afternoon. Okay, and I think you get the idea. A 2, and I don't always have to use the watercolor. I could use a gel stick. Put that in. I could put some flowers, a whole field of red flowers in through here. I could build characters. You could cut some more shapes out of scrap pieces of your artboard, and you could actually, maybe like a mountain or something, and you could use some of your materials to draw on that, and then glue it so that you actually have a dimensional quality to it. So you can make it into anything you want. Let me do one more. I got another 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 seems to be my lucky number today. Okay. And if I wanted to, I may cut you something too that, let's say, every time you land on this square, you have to smile. And that is your art tip for today.